Hello Stamperia friends, Antonis Tzanidakis here, and we are back for one more video, new project today. First of all, don't forget, if you want to watch more, just follow me on Instagram, Antonis Tzanidakis, to see more of my creations. And now today we're going to work on a journal page together. So I have my journal book here. First of all, I have done this. If you want to watch this video, we have a subscription site, craftershotspot.com. You can go there. We upload video every Friday. It's a small subscription. You can enjoy, and of course you can help a lot, for us to keep going. Now let's work on a new page together, and we're going to work with a Voyage Fantastique from Stamperia. A beautiful collection. Came out a few years back, but they brought it back again with more elements, die cuts, rub-ons, and etc, etc. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with primer from Stamperia, because I want to glue down my rice paper. I want to have a nice white surface underneath, so I'm going to get my brush. And very simply, I'm just going to paint a very nice white coat. After I apply the primer, I already dry, and now we're going to use the rice paper to cover my background. Now the thing is, I'm going to try something today that I haven't tried before. I want to blend the rice paper with the wood grain tool and a dark wood on top, so we'll see how it's gonna work out. If it doesn't, it's a nice experiment. I think it's better if we do these things together to see how we can fix some things if it doesn't work. Anyway, it's a nice technique, I think, and it's gonna look cool at the end. So what we have to do now, we have to add with our brush mixed media glue. I'm gonna use mixed media glue, of course, from Stamperia. This is the best glue you can use to glue down the rice papers. I'm gonna apply glue on my surface. I'm gonna do it, in two steps. First this side and then the other side. So I'm gonna add glue, but be careful, add a little bit more glue than usual. And then I'm gonna find my position, and I'm gonna use my hands to make the rice paper flat, and then I'm gonna use also one layer on top. Now the layer on top is very important to stick down the rice paper, and at the same time you protect it. Okay, I'm gonna dry a little bit. And then I'm going for a second layer. In general, I always seal my papers with mixed media glue, 2 thin layers, but when I have a rice paper, I'm going to do maybe 3 or 4 layers. It's very important. Just dry between a little bit, and then keep going with more glue. So I add one more layer, and then I'm going to turn my book around. I want to just glue down also this side. Very nice. I have time to cut this off later, but for now I'm going just to work here. Very nice. The rice paper, because it's very thin, is very important to seal it very nice, very well, if you want to do some, you know, some things on top. Very nice. Now I will dry very well, and then I'm gonna cut this off. Probably I'm gonna use my X-Acto knife, it's the easiest way. And then let's go move forward. We're going to work on this area a little bit, then on top of the project. Okay, let's do that off camera. Let's dry very well, clean my area, and then I'm back. Now I'm going to use my brush and Ivory acrylic from Stamperia. I have 2 bottles here because the one is pretty much empty. So I'm gonna use Ivory. I'm gonna put some Ivory on my mat. And now I'm going to do a thin layer on that side. Just a thin layer of Ivory. Doesn't matter if you touch the rice paper. Anyway, we're going to blend all together later. But right now, what's the important is just to do a very thin layer on this area here. Nice and smooth, and then we dry very fast. And at the same time, I'm gonna take again Ivory, but as you can see, just a little bit. I don't want to have so much on my brush, and I'm just going over the rice paper just to give this nice, like, vintage look. Be sure like that you don't use so much color on your brush. It's very important just to be dry brushing, okay? And then at the same time, I'm gonna use also Cappuccino, another acrylic paint. I'm gonna add a little bit on my craft mat. And without cleaning the brush, doesn't really matter. I just take a little bit, and then I'm going to add also some kind of shadows. Again, the same idea, just dry brushing. Doesn't need to be too much, just a little bit. Like this, so we blend everything together. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean my brush. And now I'm going to add again Ivory, but this time I need more color. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the Ivory, thick layer, and I'm going to place it again on this area. But this time, I just add a lot of Ivory. I want to be very thick. And I'm going to cover all the area. Now I think the tricky part is how to blend the paper here. I think something like this will do the work, just to be blended a little bit. Something. Okay, and now before I dry, I'm going to use the wood grain tool from Stamperia. That's a very beautiful tool, creates the wood grain, and we have also another texture at the back here. Why not? So, how this works, as you can see, you have the little circle here, and then you have the big ones, right? The big rounds. So this one, when you do the technique, must always face yourself. And then you go like flat on the project, and then you do this move. The most important is to understand that you have to do everything without stopping. Don't stop between the moves, because you're gonna get a very nice, you're gonna get lines, and this is the most important. We don't want lines. So that means when you do the move, you can do it fast, slowly, wherever you like, just don't stop. This is the most important. Now, let me show you a little bit outside of the project, because here is not easy, it's a very small area. So this is the move. So you have the little circle facing yourself, do it, put it flat, a little bit outside of your project, because you're gonna get a line if you start from inside, and then you keep going, don't stop, and without stopping, just pull down. You can see, put your wrist down, stay down, and when you go all the way to the other side, you kind of like closing the knot. Also, you can see a little bit, I got the image here. Okay, so this is what I wanted. I want to have like this kind of like wood look on that side, and then we have our rice paper from the other side. Now, what you have to do here, you have to go and dry very, 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 very well. So let's do that off camera, and then I'm back. And after I dry very well, now it's time to use Cappuccino. I have already on the side from when I did the dry brushing. And I just take a little bit, and I just going over my wood grain. But be careful, we don't want a thick layer. The thinnest layer you can imagine, that's why I kind of like rub it in. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just a thin layer all over the texture, okay? Just like this. Then you can dry very fast. This is already dry pretty much. Don't dry too much, just a little bit. And then we're going to take baby white, and we're going to just start blending the color up and down, and we'll get this nice look, because right now you can see that the grains and the texture start coming back very nicely. You can have somewhere more bright, somewhere else darker. It's up to you, doesn't really matter, because we are going to add more things on top. And we dry a little bit just to take the humidity from the baby wipe. I will clean also my area here very fast and very easy. And now, I mean, we're gonna work on the wood because this is not the final result, but because we have also this side, we're going to do something else. I'm going to use my stencil, this new stencil from this collection, the Voyage Fantastique. And I'm going to use my permanent ink, black, and my blending tool, of course, from Stamperia and Vicky Papaioannou. And I'm going to add like stencil here and there. You will see how I'm doing it. We're gonna do it together. So I'm gonna add in this corner, very nicely, and then I'm gonna go and add a little bit here just to blend, you know, the most important thing about this art journal page is how to blend the two things together. This is the most important. This is the difficult part. This is where you should pay a lot of attention. Okay, when you do the project, this is what you should just put your attention to it. Just to blend this part here. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to add anything else. I think this is enough. Maybe we can add also like here the journey. Okay, that looks cool. And we have also the other stencil came out with this collection. We have this beautiful chain. Maybe I could just go here and just go and add the chain like this, and then add a smaller one. Very beautiful. I'm not gonna add anything here. I just want this part to be like pure wood. So this is what I get. Then I'm going to dry a little bit. This is permanent ink, but you know, if we dry a little bit, it's gonna help to set in faster. And then I'm going to use again the same stencil. I'm gonna find the same position. Yes, we are here, 36. So I'm going to find the same position as before, and then I'm going to take my glossy gel palette knife and I'm going to add on top of the black, again, the stencil with the glossy gel. Now the good thing with this is that when it dries, it's gonna be transparent. So basically we'll be able to see everything underneath. Very fast, also this one, and then I'm going to do the chains. This is gonna be the most challenging one because we are here. Oh, yeah, you can clean the leftover, of course. Yeah, maybe I don't need to do this one just because it's very hard right now. Okay, and then I'm gonna clean around and then I'm gonna dry very well my gel medium. Be careful, don't go very near with a heat tool, just keep some distance, you don't want to bubble and bake the glossy gel. Okay, so let's do that off camera. I'm gonna clean, dry, and then we're back. And after we dry, you can see how beautiful it is. Some areas they're a bit thick, so you can still see the gel, but the most of the areas is okay and you cannot see the gel. But the thing is that it's black, but also is 3D, okay? When you touch it, it has a very nice texture. So now we're going to work a little bit with my vintage patina. One of the colors we're going to use, the turquoise, and then we're going to work also with aqua color to make the wood side to look more interesting. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take just a little bit patina. Doesn't need to, this product really worth it, really worth to have it in your stash, because you just buy one and you just use just a little bit always. This is very important and it's gonna give very nice result to the project. You can see, like, add a little bit and then just go and blend. That's gonna give this patina look on your project. And of course, if you do something and you don't like it, very fast you can just blend with baby wipe. You know, sometimes doesn't blend the way I like, so I'm gonna just get baby wipe and I'm gonna just, you know, go and clean. So it's very easy to work with. Just blend very nice with your fingers. If you put too much, take a baby wipe immediately. Don't dry. If you dry, it's gonna set in. So you just want to add a little bit here and there, gives very nice texture and gives you that patina look. So that's enough. Now I'm going to dry. So I set the patina, like make it pretty much permanent. This is the good thing. You can use baby wipe, you can wipe off, then you can use a heat gun, heat tool, and as soon as you dry, you're gonna set it in. So that's enough. And now I'm going to spray. It's time to spray with aqua color. Now what I want from you, add something under the page so the page stays flat, because we have to have it flat, it's very important. And then you just go, I mean, this one is really old. Let me explain you something. That's a good opportunity now, because this happened. So if you want to have always your aqua colors fresh to work, because what's happening, because the aqua color dries permanent, the color goes in the nozzle and then dries permanent, and then you cannot spray anymore, right? So what you have to do, you at home, when you want to keep them fresh, you spray, you use it in your project, and then when you know that you are done. I just made a mess on my table. I just made a mess. So when you know that you're done, what you're gonna do, you're gonna take off the lid, put in a cup of water, spray until water comes out, and then put it back, and this is fresh forever, okay? This doesn't spray the way I like. Of course, as I said, this is the way that should spray, okay? So you spray all over, maybe a little bit here to mix, as we said. I'll make a big mess. I'm going to tap a little bit here because I don't want to have so much on my stencil, and maybe nothing from that side. And then I'm going to dry. Now we're gonna dry together, be a little bit patient because I want to show you something. Don't forget this area, we have to blend it very nicely. We don't want to have like a line here, like it has to blend very good. Now it's very hard to do the technique on this kind of project because as you can see, the page cannot stay flat, so it kind of creates this kind of lakes. But it's okay. I mean, you can see that we can start going and like taking off. I'm gonna need to take off all this part. You see what happened? This is what happened because, you know, the color goes and stays there. But that's not a problem because, you know, we have so many ways that we can just go and work now with this. So I'm going to clean the leftover. Very fast, I'm going to clean my area. I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna cut you off now. I'm gonna do this together very fast. Oh, everything's shaking on the table. So I can tell you the truth, I'm not like 100% happy of how it looks here, but of course, you know, I should be confident like and say, oh, this is perfect. Yeah, it's kind of perfect, it's not bad, but you can see that because the paper just bends here, we had a lot of like aqua color here and a lot of aqua color there, so it creates these big gaps, but we can like always fix that by using vintage antiquing paste. So I'm going to use my vintage antiquing paste from Stamperia, collaboration again with Stamperia, of course, and I'm going to add a little bit down here, and then I'm gonna take my finger and just going to add like a thin layer, and you can see that we get the texture from before, but also now gets a little bit more brown. And it kind of like blends everything much better, right? So now I'm more happy with it. Very easy to fix these things. You know, add a little bit there, then go always, just, you remember what we said here. This blending has to be perfect, so it looks everything together. Now, this part I don't like it so much. What I'm gonna do, very simple. I'm going to add a little bit stencil on top. I'm going to add maybe some decoration, and I'm not gonna be able to see it, okay? That's very, very, very easy. You don't need to panic every time something happens. Doesn't need to be perfect, it's mixed media. You don't have to worry about these things. You can always go and fix it later. Let me clean a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why I became such a clean like crafter. I used to be like usually make a mess, but nowadays I just start cleaning more and more. So what I said before, I said I'm gonna use like a stencil or something. So I'm gonna use this stencil now. That's a different one. And I just want to just kind of like add this lettering there. Doesn't need to be perfect, just a little bit. So it kind of like, you know, like takes the, you know, like the mistake. It's not a mistake, but you understand what I'm talking about. And now, what I'm going to do, first of all, you can see the green, how nice. Look at it, you can see it here. Looks like patina, very beautiful. That was the patina, the turquoise we used. Very cool. Of course, you can see it here because more bright, but you can see also because the aqua color is transparent, right? Semi-transparent. So you can just play with different things very beautifully. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use also my blending tool and again my permanent ink. And I think it's a good time to go and add some, you can see like some shadows around. Make everything look a little bit more vintage. It's very cool. I just love these details on the projects, very important. And now, let's work about the decoration. Okay, this is very important also, decoration. Let's add some things. I'm going to use the ephemera from the same collection. This is what I talked in the beginning. I said in the beginning, they brought back this beautiful collection and they add so many beautiful new elements to the collection, and that's very important. And now let's see what we have. We have the beautiful ephemera that, if you don't know, they're also stickers. Just for you that you haven't realized, they're stickers. They have like a little very thin layer underneath. You can peel it off and stick it, but of course I like to use I like to use glue. It's much faster, much easier. Ooh, look at that, we have beautiful things, guys, here. So you can see how many beautiful things, like for example, look, done, fix it. The problem is gone. So we have very nice elements. Oh, look at that. Let's see what we're gonna use. A lot of possibilities, but I don't know what I want to use. Oh, that's a nice frame. But what we can put inside the frame, this is like a good... that looks cool there. I just like this one. That's very nice, and somehow I want to use the Voyage Fantastique. That's just a cool thing to use. So I think something like that would be beautiful. Let me use also the Discover. Maybe the Discover can go just up on top of here very nicely. And we have some little elements. Maybe the Adventure should go there. Adventure is good. Oh, we have also the little lamp. Okay, something like this. I mean, I really like the composition, but of course, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take everything I'm going to use, and I'm going to use again my ink to ink the edges, make it look more beautiful and more distressed. It's very important, like always, guys, to match everything together. That gives a very nice depth. Make everything more dirty and vintage. Very nice. Let me add also a little bit on my guy here. Very beautifully. For sure I like this side of the project. This 100%, like, I really like it. So I'm going to use now my craft glue from Stamperia. I love this glue. So what we're going to do, maybe, what I was thinking to add like a foam tape behind the frame. That would be cool, to pop it up a little bit. We have just a little bit space to pop up things, just a little bit, not too much. because as we said, like we do, our journaling is not very easy to make dimensional things, but we have a little space to, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but just it's not going to be easy to, it's not going to be easy to glue down, to close the book afterwards. When you do a lot of pages, it's not going to be easy. So what we had something like this. So very nicely, let me clean a little bit the glue. And then we have this little thing that we can put just a tiny amount of foam tape at the back. Put a little bit of glue here, and that's cool. That's very cool. And now we're just gonna put just a little bit of glue here and here, and just have the adventure. Very nice. And now I don't know what I want to do from that side. For sure I like this, the big balloon here. I mean, and match perfect with the kind like mistake we did. Not mistake, but you know, like to cover the area that we don't like the most. You know, sometimes when I don't have too much, I just go also on top of the. So I would just, yeah, I would just put this one down here because I like it. And then we will see what else we can do. But for sure, that baby goes there very nicely. I clean also the glue. Yeah, I think if I put this one also, but I like the colors. Pretty much I use the red and the blue just because they make a nice contrast. I mean, I could use this one, but this one doesn't make a nice contrast, but this one makes a beautiful contrast. But I'm going to use a foam tape. I mean, I feel that with foam tape just it's gonna look better because it's like flying in a different position. So I'm gonna add. This is what I hate with the foam tape. Sometimes so hard. Depends on the foam tape, of course, but the one I use is very good. But sometimes it's just pain take off the. So I'm gonna put this one like here, very nicely, and I think I want the Voyage Fantastique. I just really love this shape, but just I'm not sure if it's very big or not. Let's see. Let's see how it's gonna look. Make it very nice vintage. Yeah, I think give something. Okay, so let's put again foam tape. That's gonna make it look better. Just a thin, two small pieces there and there, and then take off the tape, of course, very nicely. And now we have to bend it a little bit and then just stick it like somewhere there, and then put this up. Very cool. Okay, let me clean and I'm back. Let me clean a little bit the area here and let me see what we have done. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We have this beautiful art journal page with ephemera and Voyage Fantastique rice papers and beautiful techniques on the background. I know you enjoy, very beautiful. You can also do yours. And that's me, Antonis Tzanidakis. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Antonis Tzanidakis, all together with my name, if you want to see more creations. And yeah, that's all for now. There's one more video, YouTube, Stamperia YouTube, Antonis Tzanidakis series, and see you very soon.